It's the Week 12 Print Factory. We got JSU, Big T, no Uncle Dunkle, no ODB. Big T, it's just me and you, buddy. We're flying solo today, man. Me and you. We'll hold it down for the people. Before we get to my man Big T, though, don't forget, hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button, that red button in the bottom right-hand corner. Helps you get notified every time we go live for these free shows that we do for everyone. So just give us some appreciation. Hit that thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. Obviously, we are recording this on Wednesday as normal. So before, Turkey Day and everything, had to get all the shows out, some of this football content, because, it's going to be Turkey Day tomorrow. And then I know my man Big T is going to be flying out to Vegas. So, Tony, talk to me a little bit about the trip real quick. Where are you going? What are you doing in Vegas?
Everyone knows I kind of been the Bryson guy for a while now. Like Bryson, got invited from DraftKings to go out and watch the match versus Brooks. Should be a fun little day. I mean, I haven't been to Vegas in a while just because DFS obviously isn't legal there right now. So it's a little bit of a pain, but I'm only going for a day or two. I'm going to register for stuff before and have some fun. I mean, we're going to fly out tomorrow night, Thursday night. The match is obviously Friday. Have some fun. I don't know what all they got set up. Hopefully it's something pretty cool, but I'm looking forward to it. Watch some college football while we're there too. Watch some NFL tomorrow, obviously. But it's going to be a fun week. This is the last week too. Everything's kind of crammed because of the holidays. That's why Dunkle was going to record tonight with us, but we need to get things moving. So we just wanted to get this out for the people like always.
Yeah, and obviously, if you want Dunkle stuff, he's gonna have his bets up. I'm sure he'll give out some free bets as well, but he'll have his bet stuff out on the bet side. So check out RunPure Bets as well, where all the content you can find Uncle Dunkle on there. I know he does a bunch of free YouTube shows as well on the RunPure Bets YouTube channel, so you can check him out over there as well. And ODB, he'll be back at some point, right, Tony?
The World Series is finally coming to an end. I think the last events are going on right now. So I'm guessing we're through the holidays. We're through the World Series. He's going to be back. What are we, week 12 this week? He'll be back for the last 5-6 weeks. We'll be back to normal next week.
All right, good. I need some ODB in my life. I can't just do shows with you all the time, all right? Yeah. I need some ODB in my life.
ODB had a nice little boost for the picks part of the show too, so we got to get him back.
Yeah, ODB's the man. Hopefully he's doing well in the Super Contest and all that stuff, and obviously the World Series, and we'll get him back soon. But Tony, we got the Week 12. Week 11 did not go as planned for your boy JSU. No Jonathan Taylor. I know you're a huge Colts guy. You're a big Wentz guy, so I know you love Taylor as well. Did you get lucky and have a little Johnny Taylor, or was it not a Big T week like JSU?
Yeah, it was not a good week for me. And the worst part was my key game of the week was the Colts game, the Colts and the Bills. I was very high on Josh Allen and the Bills. I was very high on Pittman in the passing game with Wentz. And somehow, like a donkey, you got to know when it's your fault and when it's other people's faults and bad luck. I don't know why I didn't play any Jonathan Taylor when I had that much of that game. I mean, to play none is just an egregious mistake by me. Even if I didn't like it, which I didn't, I thought the Bills would play from I did think the Colts could win, which should have been a reason to play Taylor anyways. But I thought the Bills would have a little lead. The Colts would have to throw from behind. But if I thought the Colts could win the game, there's literally no reason not to play some Jonathan Taylor. I probably still would have played Josh Allen and 2 pass catchers with Taylor, so I wouldn't have shipped or anything. But I would have got, well, first of all, I got like nothing back, close to zero, because I didn't have JT, didn't have a ton of Rodgers in that game. That was really all that scored last week. So terrible week for me, especially when you consider, I mean, Jonathan Taylor, that should have been a layup for me. I love the Colts, thought they could win, just an egregious mistake from me. So I accepted. I deserved what I got. He crushed. And the thing is, I said last week on the show, I said this is a monster statement game for the Colts. They've lost all these games this year versus the good teams, Baltimore and the 2 Tennessee games. They could have won all 3 of those games, and they just blew it. Like they were just games they shouldn't have lost. I said this is a statement game. They're finally back to 500. Bills come in and they just steamrolled them. So that's a good sign for my Colts. And now they come back this week. I don't know what game's first up on the agenda, but Tampa Bay comes to town to the Colts. And I've been waiting for a matchup like this for a while. Tampa going against a team like the Colts. I think the Colts are going to get back-to-back big wins, and all of a sudden everyone's going to start riding this team and be like, oh, man, they might actually be a contender, because I think they are. They got the coach, they got the quarterback, they got the running game, they got the lines. They got everything you could want for a team to make a deep postseason run. They're my boys, and I like what I see.
All right, well, why don't we just dive right in? We might as well start off with that game. Why not? You already kind of, hit on it a little. So let's just start out there. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Indianapolis Colts, Bucs. This is in Indy, but they are still the favorite here, -3, and it's a 52.5 total. You've said, and I've actually said this too, for like the past 6 weeks now. I can't wait till I get a competent quarterback with receiving weapons to go against this Bucs secondary. Tony, did you fall into the Daniel Jones trap of Showdown? Because I luckily did not, but I was heavy on Saquon, and I had pieces of the passing game. I just didn't have much Daniel Jones. I thought the Giants could score and move the ball, though, a little better than they did, especially with no Vita Vea out on the field, obviously, for the Bucs with his injury. Like, I was lucky to not fall the Daniel Jones trap, but is this a spot? Do we finally get Carson Wentz? You're the biggest Carson Wentz homer I know. You have to love this spot.
So I like it and I feel good, but it's still not quite the pass, because the Colts are the reason I like them isn't just full blown passing attack. I just think they're a good team. They still aren't ever facing a team, the Bucs. They play the Bills, I think, in 3 weeks. That'll be the first time they face like an explosive offense passing game type thing. The Colts are good. I think the Colts could win. They're still not a team. I mean, besides Pittman, they don't have that much in the passing game either. But I do think the Colts can win, and it is super frustrating. The Giants, we just talked about a mistake I made on Sunday. You see these stats with the Giants where they have the least amount of touchdowns the last 3 years. And it's like by a landslide, and they got good players too. So that's egregious to think the Giants were going to do more. So lots of mistakes to start this show, but we got to be able to accept the mistakes when we make them, or we're never going to get better. So, I mean, the Giants just totally, I shouldn't have done that. 4-2 Giants builds. I was a lot of those. They just don't score enough. And Tampa just plays these teams like that lately. I mean, since we said that. So it was, let me pull their schedule up. So we saw the Giants.
As you're pulling it up, I think it says one thing, though, about the Giants that I've said for the last, their defense really hasn't been that bad the last few years. And I think it's shown that it's keeping them in the game in a lot more games.
One thing, though, about their D, though, as you're talking about it, they got literally no pressure on Brady. It was painful.
I'm not talking about this year's really, but I'm just saying, that chart was about the last 2 years, right, Tony? Yeah. The last 2 years. And I'm saying, last year, I thought their defense kept them in a lot of games. Their offense just never has done, it's Saquon or bust. Yeah.
And why is it, too? Because their players are not bad. They have talented guys. Is it just the line? Is it the coaches? Is it that Daniel Dimes just freaking sucks?
Well, it doesn't help that Willie Hernandez is getting holding penalties all over the field. It doesn't help. Their offensive line isn't good. And then when you compound that with just constant penalties, I mean, that's got to frustrate everyone, from the coaching staff all the way to the quarterback. That's tough to deal with when you just can't get consistent drives because you got penalties and the offensive line's breaking down and letting pass rushers through. It's tough, but I don't think Daniel Jones is a good quarterback. So either way, it comes down to that. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, this game though, it should be a good game. And the good part about Tampa games is, that they're gonna try to push the pace. They're gonna try to sling the ball around, and everything kind of lines up perfectly when you're talking about a game like this. Because if Tampa gets the lead, I kind of said this with Buffalo last week when I got off Taylor. But if the Colts get down, they're forced to pick up the pace a little bit. And theoretically should throw more with Wentz, guys like Pittman, different stuff like that. But if they get the lead, I mean, the Colts and the Niners are the two. It's funny because they might be my two favorite teams as far as just pure football. And it's weird because I like passing game, and both of them, though, if they get that lead, they are going to pound the ground game against you. And there's nothing you can do about it. Once they get it going and you know they're running it, you're not stopping them. And I don't care. Both those teams, some games they might not get it going and that you might get stuck early, kind of like Derrick Henry, too, in a way, where you can hold him down. But once it starts opening and those holes start hitting, you're done for that game. And JT's going to crush the rest of the game. Whoever the 49ers running game is going to crush the rest of the game. It's just what happens. So hopefully in a perfect world here, and I won't be fading JT completely. I'll never make that mistake again. But theoretically, I would love the Bucs to get out to a little lead and make these Colts passing game throw for once. Like, get Tampa out 14-0 one time for me, where they can't just turn and hand it off to JT every play. And I like it. I like the Colts in this spot. Another thing you can do that I should have done last week with the Colts is just, I've always done it, just play the three of them. Play Wentz, JT, and Pittman. You got the whole offense against Tampa Bay. The rest of these guys, sure, they could get there. I mean, Mo Alley could get a touchdown at 26. I mean, Jack Doyle's 31. T.Y. Hilton could catch a bomb. Pascal could catch one. But there's not much upside in all of those guys. Just play the three, even the two. Say you like Brady and two pass catchers. You just play Pittman and JT. You got the whole offense basically there. If the game shoots out, there's virtually no way Pittman and JT don't get there if the game shoots out, right? I mean, how do they not get there if it shoots out?
I mean, they don't. Right. Yeah. I mean, they do. Like they have to get there if the game is shooting out, because one of them is doing the scoring. Like, it's just, there's no way around it. The Colts need those two guys. I think possibly we could just be looking at another Jonathan Taylor.
We probably are, honestly. Like, you can't do anything with it. He's just, once they start running it, it's just over.
Well, one thing is going to be for me. So I don't put a ton of single players when it comes to teams on defense. There's not that many that make a big difference when it comes to, like, okay, I'm attacking them through the ground. I think Vita VA is one of those impactful defensive players from a run stopping perspective, where if he's out, I will play Jonathan Taylor because I think he makes that much of a difference on that Bucs D line. And when it comes to teams running right through the middle, which the Colts have had success doing against a lot of teams the past few weeks, even with Quentin Nelson getting injured, which I think he got injured again last game. I still think they would have some success. So I'm going to wait on the Vita VA news, but I still will say, like, if he's out, I think Jonathan Taylor is definitely in play. Michael Pittman, is, like you said, is a great play if you think they can hang in this game, which I do. And then I think there's easy run backs on the Tampa side, right? Right, Tony? Like, it's easy. Yeah. Like, you play Godwin, you play Mike Evans, maybe Gronk if you need a tight end. He looked pretty good first game back off of being injured for a while. And I'm sure he was still a little rusty. So, like, give him another week with Brady, like, could be a Gronk week. So I like this game. Like you said, clear targets in DFS. We love clear situations. I think Tampa's a clear situation, and I think Indy's a clear situation. Like you said, play one of those two studs or both of them and just get all the points. You don't even need to play Wentz, which is the crazy part too. Like, I think sometimes
the bad part about Wentz is I love Wentz. The bad part is last week, though, when they get this lead, he is not going to throw the football.
No.
Like, if he gets down, you're golden. He'll be good. He's cheap. But if you get that lead, he is just not going to throw it at all.
Now, the question is, though, I mean, they are playing the Bucs, so the Bucs could get up in this game. Like, it's not crazy to think.
People are going to say I'm a Brady hater, but I kind of think the Bucs are very overrated. Nothing they've done has impressed me all that much. And I think their schedule's been terrible too.
Tony, I think it's one of those things too, where, like, Brady, if you've watched him play, like last week, Brady is the perfect example of a quarterback who will just take whatever the defense gives him. And if it's just short dump offs to Lenny Fournette for like 2 quarters in a row, he'll just do it. right? He will literally just take whatever's given to him, where some other quarterbacks will force it. Tom won't force it. He's not going to do that. He's smarter than everyone else, or in his head, smarter than everyone else on the field. And he's going to know, okay, the defense is giving me X. So if my guy's not open, I'm just going right to whatever they're going to give me, and I'm going to take it. And it kind of sucks from a fantasy side, right? Because you watch them and you're like, oh, this is kind of boring, right? It's not fun always. And that's, I think, why Brady doesn't
get it
do
too,
it for
though.
you.
Like, why are they the Super Bowl champs and they don't have to play a schedule? Like, I don't get it. Like, why do they not play any good teams?
I mean, because they want them to win. And they want
because they want them to be right back. Like, look at their schedule. Seriously. So this is kind of why I think they might be a little overrated. The Cowboys game we watched when we were in Philly, they weren't good that game. They won, but the Cowboys were honestly, I mean, the Cowboys are a good team too. So this isn't a whatever. But I mean, the Cowboys were just as good or better that game.
No, say it, Tony. They should have lost that game.
Yeah, I mean, they should have. So then they beat the Falcons.
We were on the other side too, and I watched it, and you said it. You were like, they're clearly not the best team in this game right now.
The Cowboys dominated them. Yeah, they just had Brady, and Brady had the ball last. So after that, they played the Falcons, who we know suck. The Rams dominated them, won by 10. The Patriots, we watched that game on the prime time. The Patriots should have beat them. Patriots are a good team too, but they should have beat them. Beat the Dolphins. They barely beat the Eagles. The Bears they beat. The Saints beat them by 10 and dominated them. The Washington beat them by 10. And then the Giants game we just watched, they sucked that game, but the Giants were just completely anemic. And yeah, they want, I don't know. I'm sold on Brady, obviously. And like you said, they're going to get in, they're going to have a good record. They're going to be great in the playoffs. They're just, I don't get why they don't. So the rest of the season,
Tony, he's going to get all the calls. He's going to get all the calls.
Look at the rest of their schedule though, JSU. They play, the Colts is a tough game, I consider, and the Bills, but the rest of them, the Falcons again, the Saints again, the Panthers twice they got, and the Jets. Like, they don't play anybody. How come they don't? I mean, I don't get it. How come they don't have to play? They haven't played Green Bay. Thought they always played Green Bay.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, I would love to see Aaron Rodgers.
This is what we do on these freaking shows. We're a half hour in and we're on first game.
Hopefully, though, Tony, we get a Rodgers Brady in the playoffs. I hope. I hope it sets up.
That was the fourth down last year, right? That was these two teams.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, it was this game. It was these guys. So I want to see it again. I want to see that run back, because that game's going to be good. I'll say that. So, all right, let's move on though. We've talked plenty about this.
I got one sneaky guy too, real quick, just to talk more about this game. But the one guy that stuck out that I don't think people are going to realize from the Monday night game is Brashad Perriman's finally active, and he had 2 deep balls that could have been touchdowns. And he's 3K, and I think he's got a decent amount of upside in tournaments where I wouldn't be shocked at all if Brady watches the film, sees that he had his dude beat. They work on it a little bit, and they hit a little 80-yard touchdown for Mr. Perriman in this game. At 3K, he's maybe not a core piece, but if you're stacking this game, play Godwin with Perriman instead of Godwin with Evans, and he's only 3K. I really like Perriman in this spot after he was finally active.
Yeah, I could see. I guess I could see it. If you're MMEing too, this is to me more of like a play where you double stack it, right? You play like Evans or Godwin with a Perriman and hope he gets a bomb, right? Because that's what he's going to be used for sure. And Brady will give him the chance. He's going to get one-on-one, and when Brady sees it, he'll take a shot to him again. So I don't hate it if you're talking large field tournaments. I think Gronk is going to have a big game. Brady loves his guys, Tony. You know,
he got peppered again the other night. 8 targets again.
And in the red zone, they missed a big play down. Gronk dropped the ball down close to the goal line. I mean, he just loves them. That when they get down there, it's Mike Evans, it's Gronk, man. That's who he goes to. When it's the 50-yard line, it's probably Godwin, Perriman. Like, that's who he goes to then. Like, those are the shots. So Yeah, I could get on board. Let's go on though to the Patriots here. Talk about a good team. They played really well. -6.5 against the Titans, 43.5 the total. From a DFS side, like, do we want to get involved with this game? We got Vrabel going against the Patriots. I think his defense plays a little better against better competition. Me personally, I think his team gets up for good teams and just plays down to bad teams. And so, like you've said before, they're kind of overrated in that sense. But I do think they get up in New England against the Patriots team that's playing well. And I think it's a game that we don't love from a fantasy side. But what do you think from a betting side, Tony?
Yeah, I think Tennessee's in a lot of trouble. I know I've been down on them all year, so I've been wrong most of the year. They beat like 3 or 4 good. I just look at this roster and I just can't fathom how they're going to keep winning. I mean, their roster just isn't good outside of AJ Brown. And against a team like New England, who is going to take away AJ Brown without a doubt, 1,000,000%, they're not letting one AJ Brown beat them. We're going to have to look somewhere else in this game. I mean, I played Foreman last week. He didn't do it, but they cut Adrian Peterson now. You know for a fact Belichick. How often do we know for a fact what Belichick's going to do? He is going to take away A.J. Brown without a doubt. So if you can find someone else in this game, Marcus Johnson, too, is out for the year last week. He hurt himself. Yep. So you got pieces in this game that you can play for a cheap price. I think Foreman is in play again just because they're going to give him work. I don't know if I'm going to play him because I don't know overall roster construction, but 4,800 for him with AP officially gone. And maybe McNichols is back. He probably is, I'm guessing. When they shipped AP out, I'm sure they probably knew McNichols is okay. But either way, McNichols is still more of a third down guy. Foreman's more of a full-time type guy. Not going to be a core piece more than likely, but I could see him having a good game. And the New England side, definitely not going to go there this week. I mean, Stevenson and Harris are going to split carries. You got Bolden's going to get the third down work. They're just going to do what New England does. They're going to win a football game, and they're going to have 8 different dudes get 9 fantasy points to do it. So I love New England, though, in the game. I don't see how Tennessee can win this football game at all. I think New England wins easy. And DFS-wise, just Foreman.
Yeah, so I think it's like if you see the Titans having a good chance to win, play Foreman. If you think because I think he plays more if they're up or if it's close. But if they're down, man, you saw it with Hilliard. And I think now McNichols is Hilliard, right? Because he had a concussion last week. We assume with AP being cut, like Tony said, McNichols is going to come back. And if he plays that role of Hilliard, you would think that in a trailing script, you'd probably like McNichols more. And if you like the Patriots to win, then and win by more than 6.5, you probably think that the Titans are trailing for some of this game and by a decent amount at some points, maybe. So McNichols might make sense. So
it was so tilting that Hilliard got 10 targets. Like it tilted me so hard.
And Foreman actually ran the ball decent too, which was the other part that kind of tilted me because I played him like you a little bit, but whatever.
He got one target and Hilliard got 10. That was very tilting.
So ridiculous. It just got peppered too. Like it was ridiculous. But yeah, and if you can pick the cheap receiver from Tennessee that maybe pays off his price tag. I mean, AJ Brown's hurt too, Tony. I know that they did some tests and it came back negative for whatever he had going on. I think it was like his chest or something, but he's not healthy. I mean, he hasn't been healthy, it feels like, all year. And we already know how Belichick's going to play him. Yeah. He's going to, try their best anyways to take him out of the game. So is it the Westbrook Akina kid, Chester Rogers?
The most talented guy for sure is the dude from Louisville.
Fitzpatrick.
Des Fitzpatrick from Louisville. Yeah, he caught a touchdown, and he's the most talented. He was really good at Louisville. And, I mean, it's like you said, though. Like, you got a decent chance guessing wrong with all these pieces. But if you do, one of them's going to score. I mean, you got the tight ends are 2,600 and 2,700. Like, you got some cheap pieces. And if they take A.J. Brown away, right, like, even if we think Tennessee doesn't score more than, like, 20, they're still going to give these guys some looks. I mean, they're super cheap. So you can definitely play a few of these guys.
Yeah. And I will say, Jonnu Smith going up against his old team, 2,700, cheap tight end. If you just wanted a cheap dart, I'm not into playing really these New England guys, but at 2,700 for Jonnu Smith, like he could catch a random touchdown and just give you enough at 2,700 to do it if you're MMEing, if you're playing large field stuff. So don't hate it. Let's move on though. We got better games to talk about here. Let's go to the Eagles and the Giants though. Eagles who've been playing a lot better the last 2 weeks, Tony. They've looked a lot better. Eagles are minus 3.5 here. 45.5 is the total, coming off of against the Giants team that really looked awful against Tampa Bay. Is this a spot where we maybe play some Eagles, but fade the Giants? How are we playing this game?
Yeah, this game looks like an easy fade DFS wise. Like, I don't see anything in this game I would like outside of just some dart throws on some of these guys. But betting wise, God, it's why you can't be so too attached to stuff, because I think the Giants are in a very good spot betting wise, where Philly's looked really good. I always like taking these teams off of just total tank job on Monday Night Football, where they look just horrendous, because everyone saw it. Everyone watches Monday Night Football, so everyone saw how bad they look. I mean, we're not breaking. Sometimes we'll have an edge by watching one of the games that maybe people didn't see as close, but everyone sees Monday Night Football. Everyone knows they sucked. Everyone knows Philly's been playing better. Everyone's going to like Philly in this spot. And the Giants have always played Philly pretty tough. I mean, so even when Philly was better, you'd see Danny Dimes with the running and stuff. So I like Philly betting wise, but DFS, I mean, just looking at these prices, I don't see it. Boston Scott, I know I had to call the 1 week. I will say he's played good against the Giants at times with these little screens and stuff. I'm not going to play him because you just don't need to. But I wouldn't be shocked if a guy like that does good. This game, though, nothing for me DFS-wise.
Yeah, I'm still going to say that I have no idea how Miles Sanders is not just the lead dog getting like freaking 15 to 20 carries every single time. Another game, comes back, averages 5.9 yards per carry, but only plays like 40% of the snaps.
No passing game work again.
No passing game work. Boston Scott gets 30. Pretty much they almost split time. There was one other running back that was involved, but like, I can't play that. Like, God, give me the 60-40 at least. Like, give me.
And give some passing game work, right? Like, you got to have a little passing game work.
Yeah, or just give me Boston Scott, 60-40. I'll play Boston Scott then. Like, just give me one of them in this Philly team to play the majority of the snaps so I can play one of them. Right now, I can't. So the Giants side, Tony, like, is Saquon at 6'3"? Is he a play, or are we?
They hurt my feelings on Monday. They were so bad. I guess at 63, I mean, you have to keep him in your player pool, I guess. But God, I don't have much faith in the Giants offense.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. Like, the price tag is like kind of trying to pull
He did
me
look
in,
decent too. I mean, I wouldn't like totally laugh at it, but
I will say, like, Saquon of old, I don't know if you remember this play, but it was later in the game and he took himself out after, but he busted through like a big hole and some guy tackled him by the ankles from behind. And it was a clear like trip up. And I'm sorry, like, old Saquon would have been gone. That dude wouldn't have caught him. Like, I think he's clearly a little still banged up from his ankle, because old Saquon would have, like, he would have been even fat. Like, when Johnny Taylor gets to that hole and he just creates so much speed and he's gone like a bullet, no one from behind's catching him. It's the guys coming. It's like the safeties coming at him. You know, no one from behind's getting him. Saquon, I felt like should have busted that one for a big play and just got caught. There's the burst though that those injuries can get you with. So
I'll say one thing too about just the bet, just a tidbit. Like, so Brady made them look terrible because they played their little zone. They dropped everyone back. They never got any pressure on Brady. And Brady is the best ever at just dissecting the defense. So it was easy. If you give Brady 10 seconds, me and you could be running routes and we're going to be open after 10 seconds. He's going to find us. It literally doesn't matter who. What's the difference though this week? They can run that same coverage, not get pressure on Hurts, And he's not Tom Brady. He can't hit open guys nearly as good. So that's another reason I like the Giants. Play that little zone. It's not going to be as easy for Jalen. I can guarantee you that. He is not a good thrower. So that's another reason that I like the Giants.
All right, let's go on to Tony's team. I'm calling him Tony's team because he gave him out, I think, on like every show he did, as just the complete lock button of the century last week. They did win. They covered. Tony was right. I got to give him credit. Cincy Bengals here, 4.5 point favorites against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I've been talking to you about the Steelers for weeks now. We've said it. They're just not good. I don't know how they've won so many games that they've won because it's just not a good team. It's not a good football team. I don't care if Big Ben's out there. It's Mason. Like, they're just not good. Najee Harris is a good football player, but he has a terrible offensive line. Big Ben is just he's a shell of himself, honestly. Like, it's rough to watch some of it. And now we get the Bengals against the Steelers, Tony. Is this a spot we can attack?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Bengals are underrated and the Steelers are overrated. And the Steelers have always had their number, too. I mean, for years. I live in Cincy, obviously. I've followed Cincy my whole life. And, I mean, Pittsburgh has always owned them for forever. I mean, even back to when the Bengals were crushing with Carson Palmer and they fell into his knee and blew his knee out and they end up winning because of it. They just have always owned them. But I think the tide has changed since he went in there, and I don't remember what the final score was earlier this year. Let's pull it up real quick. Earlier this year in Pittsburgh, the score was 24-10 Bengals, dominant victory. And I don't see why this game would be any different at home. Pittsburgh looks every bit as bad, and the Bengals look every bit as good. Yeah, they laid two stinkers in there, lost to the Jets, got blown out by Cleveland, but they're still the talent still there. They're better in a lot of the positions. They want to really get some separation in this division and try to start moving up. And this is the game. I would be stunned. I'm not going to give it. I already hit my year guarantee last week. I'm not going to come back with anything that strong, but I do think the Bengals under a 7-point favorite are a very good play this week. I think they easily cover, win by probably double digits. And I wouldn't be shocked if they just embarrassed Pittsburgh on the offensive end, just to where Pittsburgh can't move the ball, 3-and-out punt, 3-and-out, throw their little 2-yard dump offs. Like last week with Pittsburgh, I don't know what in the world kind of game plan. Who are they even playing here?
They were playing the Chargers, and Justin
they were just,
Herbert sat back there in the pocket, had no pressure, and then if he didn't like anything, he just ran.
Yeah,
like that's what
just
it was.
Embarrassed them. And Big Ben was throwing deep. That's not going to happen. The Chargers don't play too deep a lot like a lot of these other teams. Big Ben's going to go back to throwing these little 2-yard dump offs. It's not going to work versus the Bengals. They're going to roll. Fantasy-wise, though, Pittsburgh's defense is decent enough. Cincinnati's defense, I mean, there's no scenario I play a Pittsburgh guy. Like, no way.
I'm going to fight you on this.
Huh?
I'm going to fight you on this.
Oh, get in there to recommend someone then.
I'm going to fight you on the fact Pittsburgh's defense is not good. And them losing TJ Watt, I mean, Mika Fitzpatrick, it was clear in that game that you watched. They couldn't get any pressure on Justin Herbert. It was one of the biggest. It's what you're like alluding to pretty much was like, it was just hard to watch. Justin Herbert had all time to throw, and he had so much time that if nothing was open, he was running for like 25 yards at a clip. It was ridiculous. Yeah. I'm sorry, but Joe Burrow, I think what Pittsburgh does here, though, it'll be interesting. Do they decide we need to get pressure on the quarterback? And if so, we need to start, trying to blitz a little bit more. If that happens, Jamar Chase is going to have big plays down the field. Like, mark my words, downfield, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. He caught 2 touchdowns against his team last time out. Pittsburgh likes to be aggressive. With TJ Watt and some of their guys out, like, I think they try and be a little more aggressive, and Burrow's been good against the blitz. If they do that, then I think Jamar Chase is a big game. If they decide to drop back in coverage more and just, not blitz as much, I honestly think it's a better game plan where then it hurts Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. So
I
It
think
just
they let
kind
us
of,
off the hook with Chase though, because ever since they priced him up, it's just really hard to play him over like some of the top guys because since he does spread it around and yeah, Chase had the 134 when it was a broken play versus Baltimore, but really there hasn't been. I love Chase. We both love Chase. I just his price is a little heavy for me where it's tough for me to play him. I'll say that.
yeah. I mean, I said it on the show when I did it on Sunday. I told people, I said the Raiders don't blitz a lot. They're the least, they
Yeah.
blitz the least in football. And Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, a lot of their big plays come against teams that blitz a ton and off of blitz plays where they can hot route and Jamar Chase gets signaled for a go route because that's where he dominates really. Those are his big plays, Tony. Those are a lot of his touchdowns are off of like go routes. Just
Yeah.
straight
Just don't
line,
pitch and catch.
pitch and catch. And yeah, they obviously have a connection. So I get what you're saying. The price tag I think he's going to be low owned though this week, right? Like
Yeah, he
no one's
has to
going to
be.
want to pay him. So
Yeah. That's the good
I'm
thing
with you
about him.
there. Yeah. And Deontay comes back and play again because we're going to get friggin' just Deontay 13 targets like every week. But I don't want to pay 6,600 on a main slate for Deontay. That's my one problem with him.
I'm just
Like,
not a D. I used to like him. I've soured on these just volume guys. I don't know what it is. You've turned me into too much of an upside guy where that's helped me a lot to be more successful too. So I kind of have just gotten rid of these just yeah, he's probably got more upside than some of the guys I make fun of that are the just straight possession guys like Renfro. But man, I just don't like he's going to catch a bunch of 3-yard passes. He's probably got a great floor. He's probably an unbelievable cash play. And it's one of the reasons I don't play cash games. I don't like cash games because I don't want to play a format that I'm forced to play Deontay Johnson. And that's what you do in cash. That's why I suck at it. These cash people just jam these guys in, and that's a compliment. They're good at it. I'm not good at that. So,
well, how can you beat 13 targets in 4 of the last 5 games? I mean, who is getting? How many people are getting that type of volume, even at
probably
6,600?
No one.
That's what I mean. So that's where it comes from. But let's go on to the Panthers and Dolphins. Panthers -2 here, even though it's in Miami. 41.5 is the total. I mean, I'll start. We got Cam Newton to. I think the Panthers are just a better team than Miami overall. I think they're better on both sides of the football, even with Cam at quarterback. And I'm not a big Cam guy, but I think against the Dolphins, I think we're going to see a big game from Christian McCaffrey, and I don't think that's like a crazy statement, obviously, but I think it's a great spot for him. Maybe Cam can get some work too. My only question is, can Miami score enough to keep Cam trying to push the ball? And I don't know if they can. I think the Carolina Panthers defense is solid enough to give Tua some fits, where I might just be like Christian McCaffrey, Carolina defense, and not much else in this game. Tony, what about you?
Yeah, you just said it. You said it. I think it's a huge McCaffrey spot. He let me down last week. I mean, Cam got the two touchdowns I think he had. I don't know the exact numbers, but and McCaffrey still got, let me pull it up, 25 fantasy points. So the last 2 weeks he had 26 and 25, and I don't feel like either game he hit close to his ceiling. I feel like he ran bad both weeks. Yeah, he got a touchdown last week, but he didn't run good by any means. And he got 24 and 25. He's got a 40 piece ready to come at some point in the next week or two. Might as well be versus Miami. Love this spot. And I love the defense, like you said. I still think Carolina's a little bit slightly underrated. How much is their D? 20. Oh, they're up to 31, which makes them even lower owned. Miami, I mean, we talked about Gaskins last week. He hit his ceiling playing the awful Jets defense and still only got 18. It's just
this is what I keep saying about these guys. Like, God, you want 18? Like, is that what you want when you play these guys? Yeah, well, they're gonna pop off once a year for 30, but like other than that, you're getting 18, and that fine. You want that? That's an okay game. whatever. But
that's
like
the perfect
for
example of a
tournaments,
game you're not mad at either way. Like you're not mad if you faded them, you're not mad you played them, but you're not excited either way. I mean, it is what it is. It's just a standard, just median game where sure it's fine. You're not upset if you played him and he got 18, but you're not. There's nothing to it. But yeah, McCaffrey and the defense.
But like if I'm playing, I mean, Darrell Henderson, 5,800, much higher ceiling in my opinion. Saquon Barkley, 6,300. Even James Robinson, who's not on a good team, I mean, he's 6,200. All guys I would prefer over him. All guys with higher ceilings. Like, give me all those guys that you're picking from. But this game, I think it's clear, right? It's just those two. And McCaffrey's, once his touchdowns, I mean, we're going to see some touchdown come back from
He's going to have a 4 touchdown game soon.
And it's going to be a 45 piece, Tony. Like literally,
probably
like we're going to
be
get
this week
monster
too.
game. Yeah, I think so. I think we're getting it this week. Let's go though. We got to keep this show moving. Yeah, we got Sylvester Payne in the chat. He says 3 shows for T, 3 shows for Surab. That's right, man. We wanted to make sure no one forgot our faces today. We wanted to get on as much as possible today. Obviously, me and Tony are not going to be around as much on Thursday and Friday and Saturday. So we wanted to make sure we got all the info out to the people, and then we'll of course be back Sunday, right, Tony, for the football Sunday. We'll be back.
Yeah.
But
holiday week. So. Well, we don't like to leave the people hanging, though. I mean, we like to take care of them. It's a little harder holiday week for everyone, though. I mean, people got things they need to do with family and stuff, but knock it out early. We'll still be in the Discord and stuff too to help out, but little tougher always on these holiday weeks. So it's not about this slate, but it looks like is Kamara actually is he kind of like maybe willing to miss tomorrow?
Yeah, he hasn't practiced, I don't think.
Was not present for the media window today either.
Whew, I think his knee is more than they're actually even coming on. They said it was a knee sprain, but like what threw me off was that he practiced last week, and then on Thursday or Friday, he randomly didn't practice. Like he practiced on Wednesday and then like didn't practice on either it was Thursday or Friday. I can't remember.
That's interesting.
And I was like, wait, what? That
slate's going to get even chalkier if he sits too.
Yeah, well, I want to see if Mark Ingram for sure going to play? Like, do we get that news?
I think Ingram's for sure going to play. Yeah.
You think so? Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, that's obviously the Turkey Day slate. We dropped a video, by the way, guys. If you didn't see it, we dropped a video for the Turkey game slate just about an hour and a half ago. So that's one of the videos that our guy, Mr. Payne in the chat is talking about. So if you haven't checked that out after we're done here, go check that out. It's covering the whole Turkey Day slate, and we're going to have all the coverage you need at RunPure Sports. We're going to have, the normal workload for main slates, but for the Turkey Day slate as well. So we're going to have playbook, core plays. Big T, you doing a player pool type thing?
I mean, it's obviously going to be smaller because it's only 3 games, but we're going to do the same content as I would for a Sunday.
Yep, full works for you guys. So full works for Thanksgiving. So check it all out. And Showdown for the night game, right? We're going to have for sure some type of Showdown piece for the night Showdown game as well. So that's the later game, the Buffalo-New Orleans game. So we'll have all that stuff up hopefully by tonight or tomorrow morning for sure. So check that out. Don't forget to hit the like button as well, that subscribe button in the right-hand corner to get you subscribed to the YouTube channel, which we would appreciate. So let's do that. As we do that, let's move on. We got the New York Giants. Oh God, some dusty games in the Houston Texans. I mean, Tony, I've already read some games that are just complete dustball games. And we get another one here with the Jets and the Texans. It's like the battle for who really is the worst team in the league. Texans are -2.5 here. 44.5 is the total. I mean, do we just take the dog here because both these teams suck? Like, how do we play this game if we're betting it?
Yeah, I mean, I think you just stay away from games like this for sure. 2 just greaseball teams. Probably the 2 worst teams. I mean, if not close to the 2 worst teams, 2 of the definite bottom 5. And I mean, you look at it, no reason to really to bet it unless you have a strong take, someone plays hard or something. You do look at some of the pieces, though. I mean, Elijah Moore has gone for 20 plus in 2 of the last 3. He's gone for double digits in 5 straight games. He's still somewhat cheap, although the price is going up a little. And you wouldn't think it's a downgrade, but Flacco does. I mean, Zach Wilson is a young guy. I'm not 100% sure this helps the receivers, even though Flacco, we make fun of him. He's still a freaking veteran that, yeah, if you put pressure on him, he's going to be absolutely horrendous, different things, but he's still all right throwing the ball. We saw it last week. He was decent enough. I'm not convinced that he's not better than, at this point in time, than a guy like Zach Wilson, who looked terrible early in the year. But, I mean, you could play Elijah Moore. I probably won't. I fade games like this. I don't really go there. But if you played him, I wouldn't totally hate it. Even so with Michael Carter out, I mean, you can play Tevin Coleman for 4K against Houston. It's a stone min price. Ty Johnson at 43. They'll probably split time right down the middle, I would guess. And they're both min price against Houston. So I don't think they're the worst plays ever if it gets you something. I mean, you can leave them in your – this is what I do. We talk about it on these shows all the time. Project them for 10 fantasy points or something. If you get the perfect stack with as we get to some of the bigger offenses where you double stack and you get some of these big weapons and you have to play Ty Johnson or Tevin Coleman to fit everything, I don't think it's the worst move. I don't think there's crazy upside either. I don't think they're going to get you 30 or something, but they could get you 16 or 18 for min price, which is not terrible.
Yeah, I think that this is where, you talk about guys who don't have maybe high ceilings, but at their price tags now at 4K, 4.3, you can convince me. Now, they've played 3 running backs, though, of the Jets. So do they throw a third one in there, even though Michael's out, or do they
They
play
do got
2?
Royce Freeman, too, I think.
So this is a question. I think it's a big question, too, because if you convince me they just play 2, then yeah, I think you could definitely play Ty Johnson. If you think the Jets are trailing,
you could really get crazy and play both of them in a Millie Maker format.
If you guaranteed me that those 2 guys played 100% of the snaps
against Houston,
I would do it. I think I would do it in a lineup just to be crazy.
Because you could stack some big boy offenses with that. Oh, yeah. Like Stafford and McCaffrey and Devontae
and you could get McCaffrey too at 9K.
And McCaffrey. You could stack some real goods.
Yeah. I mean,
they're mid-price against Houston. It's just the perfect match. Yeah, the guys aren't good. Tevin Coleman's old and not good. Ty Johnson actually's looked decent at times. I don't know. Maybe Royce Freeman gets some buzz throughout the week. He hasn't been there that long. Maybe they give him a look. Maybe they give him an extended look and don't play Tevin Coleman. Maybe it's Ty Johnson and Royce Freeman.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's Ty Johnson.
It's for sure going to be Ty. That's the one thing we for sure know, because he's already got half the work.
We'll see. Hopefully we get something maybe to clarify it. Who knows? But I do think that they're at least interesting, right? Keep them in the player pool, like Tony said. Give them a projection and just see what they do.
Pay attention to the news. Maybe hold him. Yeah. Is he got the whole damn week off, or is he on the Sunday show? How are we going to get news?
Sunday. He's not missing a Sunday. He told
me. He'll get us some news. He's good with that news on Sundays. If we got a report that said Ty Johnson and Royce Freeman are going to split it 50-50, man, that'd be spicy against Houston.
Yeah, this coaching staff, they love Tevin Coleman. They pretty much brought him there from 49ers.
For no reason, too.
I think it's just because they're from the 49ers, a lot of those guys, and, Tevin Coleman played on the 49ers, so they like him, I'm sure, but he's dusty. Ty Johnson's definitely the one, but other than that, I mean, can't play Houston guy. I don't know. 5,800 for Cooks. I guarantee you people are going to play Cooks too.
Every week.
5,800.
Sure. I've officially written him off. I played him a little early in the season when he was getting all those targets. Last week they're playing Tennessee and he gets 3 targets. Just write him off. Don't even let yourself talk yourself into it. It's first the Jets. The Jets get carved by everybody. It's still freaking Houston's offense, though. And I think he will get owned. I think people will play him against the Jets.
Oh, he's for sure going to get owned at under 6K.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to
I'm
get
just
owned.
done. I've written him off. I'm done with him. Like, if he beats me, so be it. I won't regret it.
I swear to God, I've looked at this slate, but I just must not have realized that there are this many dusty games. Atlanta Falcons, Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, seriously, really? We got the Falcons and the Jaguars now? Oh, God.
So bad.
All right, the Falcons are 1-point favorites here in Jacksonville.
How can the Falcons be favored over anybody?
How? And I hate Jacksonville. And I'm going to say this right now. Like, I think betting, like, if you want to bet this game, fine, whatever. But I think betting the Falcons is insane.
Yeah.
Like, either stay away from this game or bet Jacksonville at home.
It's a teaser game. It's perfect. To tease Jacksonville up to 7.5.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the best way to do it.
Atlanta's not going to blow this team out. Jacksonville at least they've sucked, but look at their schedule. They've played some good teams, somewhat tough at times. Like, pull it up. I pulled the schedule up for earlier with the Bucs. So let's look at Jacksonville. Yeah, they just got beat up by the Niners, who honestly, like the Colts, I think the Niners and the Colts. So that's who the Jaguars have played the last 2 weeks, my two teams. The Niners pounded them, and the Colts, even though the score doesn't show it, the Colts basically pounded them. I mean, they smothered them and just sat on the ball. But before that, they beat the Bills. Like, they've already played more good teams than Tampa the last 3 weeks. The 49ers, Colts, and Bills the last 3 weeks. Seahawks before that. They beat the Dolphins before that. The Titans beat them. The Bengals, the Bengals game, Bengals barely beat them. Cardinals barely beat them that game. I mean, the Broncos, back when we thought the Broncos were good, kind of hammered them. I don't know. Their point being, they at least try hard here and there. Their schedule's they're better than Atlanta. So give me them over Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, the Jacksonville game against the 49ers, Tony, what's funny about that is I heard a lot of people saying, oh, this is a trap game. And I'm like, no, this is not a trap game. Like, no, it is not. Like, at all. And 49ers dominated them, by the way.
Nothing's a trap game when you have to win.
Yeah. Like,
there's no such thing. Like, their record wasn't good enough.
Yeah. I was
If
totally
the Niners were like 8-2 and they had that game, I would agree. Not when they're 4-5 and they need a victory.
They needed the victory, Tony. Yeah. They needed it. Like, they absolutely
and
did.
They're peaking. Like, the
Rams are starting to fall in that division a little bit. The Arizona with Kyler being in and out. Yep. Like, they needed that win. That win was huge for them.
You can't. Your season's over if you go in there and lose to Jacksonville.
Yeah, yeah. And they pounded them, right? Like, I mean, 30. Like, they pounded them. Like, that was
completely owned them. It was never in doubt. The Niners are looking very, very good.
I'll tell you right now, the Niners, when they get a lead, that's when they're strong, man. If they get down big early, though, I think they struggle to come back.
They're just like the Colts. They're the same two teams. If they get it going early, you're going to have a tough night in the building. But if you can get out in front of them, you got a good chance. It's definitely those two teams because just the way they play.
I'll still say it, like, you knew right away the 49ers when they played the Rams that they were there. Like, yeah. And you knew it in the first quarter. You knew it right away by the way those dudes were friggin' blocking and stuff like that. So, all right, let's go. Tony, no James Robinson. Is there any like DFS play?
I'm not playing pieces in this game.
Okay, I might get sucked in James Robinson by the
every time I've been sucked into his ass all year. He's let me down. He's not a single time come through for me.
We're just talking about if we bet this game, it would be Jacksonville. Like, if we think it's going to be close, James Robinson could be a decent play here.
He's just such a Sally though. Like, he just,
I know.
God, every time I play him, I feel
still
like
in your head about the game we went like all in on him and he screwed us. He got injured right away. Like,
he hurt my feelings a lot this year. I played him another week too, where I had like a nut team and he sucked.
Yeah, I that was the only time I played him, so I definitely got screwed bad that time. But Jameis was my quarterback that week, and he also got hurt. So I got I got really screwed. Brent in the chat trying to get me going. Nice try. I see what you're trying to do there, Brent. You're trying to get me going. Told you. We're going the whole season. I didn't even bring his name up. I will not. Let's move on. We got the LA Chargers and the Denver Broncos. Chargers favorites here, -2.5. 48.5 is the total in this game. This game is in Denver. Chargers coming off, I don't know what, like a nice game that they just completely like took their foot off the gas and let Pittsburgh back in. I don't even know what to make of the ending of that game, how the Steelers even kind of got back in. But they get a Broncos team now. Like, what are we doing with the Chargers in Denver, Tony?
This was the week I've had bookmarked the whole year that I wish Melvin was out because I wanted to play Javonte. As crazy as it sounds, like I wanted the Chargers week, and it was at the point of the season too where I was hoping Melvin would be out or something. Not going to happen though, so we're going to have the same timeshare, 5,253. Can't really do anything there. These Bronco games, just I've done pretty good. We've been on the wrong side of some stuff. I've been on the right side of the Broncos where I've been on the right spots and off the right spots with them. And this just feels like another spot that's going to play very slow. Chargers will probably win, but the Chargers are okay with like playing slow too, which annoys me about them. I wish they would just let it fly with our boy Herbert. Just let it fly. Throw it down the field to these guys and really air it out. That's what they do good, but they don't want to. They want to throw these little dump offs, play slow, and these guys are okay. Like I wouldn't mind landing on any of these guys, Eckler, Keenan, or Mike Williams. But they're not gonna be just guys I'm super excited to throw in. Mike Williams would still be the guy for me at 5,700, where we talked about like Deontay and these guys that are in that similar price range that have a huge floors. Mike Williams is the opposite. He's got no floor, but he's got 40-point upside every week with these deep balls. And he'd be the guy, but I'm not like overly enthused by him either. He just doesn't get crazy workload. I like him. He'll be in my pool, but I don't need him.
Yeah, I mean, like we talk about like totals on the week here, 48.5 for this game. I mean, it's one of the higher totals on the entire
I wish
slate.
we could play Javonte.
So honestly, it's funny you say that. It's probably a Melvin Gordon week against
it probably is.
Team.
I mean, Melvin freaking scores every week too.
It feels like he scores at least one touchdown every week. It really does.
I mean, look, he's only not had a touchdown like 3 games or something. It looks like. Always double digits, but again, it's annoying. It's annoying. So we always talk about the Javonte side.
He doesn't have like the
because they're splitting these carries.
I know.
We get frustrated about the Javonte side, but honestly, if you like Melvin, it's just as frustrating because he doesn't get the whole workload either. So it doesn't matter how good these guys are doing either. The other guy is still coming in every other series or close to it where it's going to end up 50-50. You're just going to have to run so perfectly to have you get upside from these guys. You're going to have to get all the touchdowns somehow. And there's not going to be that many to begin with. I mean, if you give Denver 2 or 3 touchdowns, it's going to be just nearly impossible to bank them all with a running back.
Wait a sec. So yeah, I agree. I agree with you there. I just realized though, Mike Williams is 5,700.
Yeah. I mean, the price looks good.
And then you got Judy and Sutton at 5.5 and 5.4. Yeah, these games, some of these guys might end up being popular, Tony, even in this type of game here.
They're cheap,
and I kind of agree with West Coast Gem in the chat. He says total seems kind of high for a Denver game in Denver, by the way. Like, I kind of agree with you. The total does seem kind of high. The line kind of seems fishy. Like 2.5 for Denver. Like, really? Like,
I don't like how the Chargers have played. I mean, you just talked about the Steelers game. Like, they should have killed that team, and they let them back in it. It was like a blowout, whatever the score was.
They took their foot off the gas pedal. Like, that's what
they always do it. Like, always. They never just go in and pound someone. Denver knows them well, too. Like, I don't know. This could be a sneaky game. I mean, Denver could score on the Chargers. Chargers D is nothing incredible. I mean, Big Ben just slaughtered them. If Big Ben can slaughter them, I mean, anybody can slaughter them. And yeah,
Well,
these
maybe then we
prices.
should have.
What
Maybe
about a
then we should
double
have more
stack? What
interest.
about a Teddy, Judy, Sutton with a Mike Williams run back or something?
Well, why can't you play Herbert?
You
Play
could. I mean,
Herbert with
yeah, definitely.
Melvin and Judy or Sutton. You
Yeah.
play Herbert with Mike Williams and I don't know, maybe it's both studs, Mike Williams and Keenan, and then you run it back with Melvin and Judy and hope they get the touchdown. Like that could be a interesting build. So yeah,
I like it. It's going to be sneaky too. And every week I say this. I think one of my issues is playing too much chalk in the NFL, where these plays look like smash, but then everyone plays them, so it doesn't matter. You get on some of these games like this where it's guaranteed to be at least somewhat low owned, and you can just jam in all the pieces. And if this game shoots out, you just print money.
Yeah, which this game seems like it could be.
The
Hopefully
prices
the
too,
price
right?
tags.
Like you said it.
Yeah.
The prices are right. You got the whole game outside of Keenan and Eckler in the 5Ks.
Yeah. And with those value prices, you could get one of Keenan or Eckler. Like it's not
Or
crazy
both.
to pay or both.
I mean, you could play both in a Herbert build. Herbert, Eckler, Keenan with 2 cheap Broncos. We got a bunch of cheap pieces we already talked about that you can put in your team. Yeah.
Yeah.
The nice part about the Chargers, right, is they're another team where you know the volume is going through those top. Yeah, guys like Parham might get something here and there, but the volume is going through the same people always.
Yeah. I think this game too is perfect for also a secondary stack because of the value prices. Like let's say you don't love it, but man, you could easily secondary stack this game and fit 2 nice priced guys, Melvin and Mike Williams, Mike Williams and Sutton or Judy. Like you could easily do something like that as well. All right, we got 2 more games on this list. So let's go to the 49ers, who you've talked up a little during the show. We talked up a little. -3, 49 is the total against the Minnesota Vikings, who, man, the Vikings, like that team has got a ton of talent, like a ton of talent here, but they're the dogs coming into San Francisco. Tony, what do we think of these 2 teams?
Yeah, these teams, I mean, we've said it all year about Minnesota. They're way better than their record is shown. I think they might even be back to 500 now too, or close to it. But they just have good guys, and they're all up top. I mean, Jefferson is maybe my favorite receiver in football, just so freaking good, which is another mistake I made last week. I just didn't play that much Jefferson. And God, I mean, I just kick myself because I play Jefferson every week and JT, and I just shouldn't have done that. So it's my fault that I didn't do better when those guys crushed last week. But I mean, this week, it all depends with these San Francisco games. Both these teams like to play slow. This is what worries me. San Fran likes to play pretty slow and run the clock. Minnesota is just fine with the same thing, running the ball, running clock. I could see this game playing extremely slow and the clock just running the whole game. Like I could see it being halftime when one of these other games, like the Rams game, is still like early second quarter, is how quick I could see it running. But you do have a lot of pieces. I mean, Debo and Jefferson are going to be in play for me every single week. We talk about mini stacks. I really don't have any interest in either quarterback in this game. So right away, it presents the perfect min stack game. One piece from each team. Kittle is going to pop off the page. Debo is going to pop off the page, and no one else from San Fran, unless somehow like Mitchell sits. You can easily come back with a Jeff Wilson who let everyone down last week. He still got 19 carries. He was wide open in the end zone. Maybe the worst pass I've ever seen, when the dude was just wide open and somehow they missed him. I mean, if you give him that touchdown and he runs a little bit better, he like basically had the most unlucky game of the week. He could have scored like 25 and he scored like 8. So if Eli is somehow out, you can definitely come back with a guy like Jeff Wilson. But the rest of the pieces are good. I mean, there's never a week where I'm going to say don't play Kittle or Debo. There's never going to be a week where I don't like Jefferson and Dalvin Cook. So I don't think it's like a full game stack shootout type game just because of what I said about the clock. but I do think a few of these guys could end up on the winner.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this game's going to be owned too, Tony. Like, I think pieces of this game are going to be popular. You're talking about the second highest total on the slate. Everyone likes to pivot to the second game. We just know that's how it works. It's like the sneaky game all week, right, Tony? So everyone's like, oh, Minnesota, San Francisco, it's going to be the sneaky game. That's the game. And then by Sunday, the sneaky game is now the game that everyone's targeting. And I can't argue though with Justin Jefferson or Debo. Debo is playing some running back. He's playing some receiver. I mean, why? If the game stays close, which we think two good teams, I think this game stays somewhat close. And like you said, the only worry I have is that it might play slower. That is the only worry.
How does the question we got to ask ourselves is, how does this game not play slow?
Minnesota scores early and then they get up and force San Francisco to throw.
And that's got to be really bad for San Fran too, which
yes.
I don't know. There's not really a good path where it plays fast, I guess is my reasoning. Like,
it's probably better for like Kittle and Debo though, in a way.
Yeah. Look who's joining us. There he is. The band is back together.
Late. Look at that.
In the flesh, as the cool kids say.
Let's look at that hair. He got the cut. We got two cuts.
So I have a few things to say.
Look how good that looks. Turn sideways.
Look at that.
Look at how good that looks.
He's making me look even worse right now. I had Tony, which was okay, but then fucking Dunkle comes on and just makes me look absolutely
Dunkle's hair is
right
like
now.
Immaculate too.
Up
top, it just looks perfect.
Yeah, we're done with the hair. I have a few things to say.
You hate getting recognition. JSU always does this to me.
Hates it.
Dunkle hates it even more than me.
This is the best part is Dunkle's probably about to tell everyone how like he had his worst football week of the season and how he went 0-4 or it's something like that where like screw everything else. I have to tell the people how I missed on two bets. What is it, Dunkle? What do you have to say?
So yeah, I mean, just to talk on JSU's point quick. I mean, I had a great week, but I was extremely fortunate. So
I got so lucky.
So first of all, who knew Tony, hates dogs? And also, who knew that JSU's dog is his fucking shrink? JSU's just like running down slates,
Talking to Reggie. He's like, God, this San Francisco O-line is really going to steamroll him, Reggie.
Dude, I need to turn off my visual, whatever the background thing is, so you can see my dog is lying over the couch with his face in between the cushions, staring at me right now, like straight staring at me. He's just friggin' right in between the cushions. I don't know.
Here's the thing, Reg. AJ Dillon's going to be a good play this week, most likely. But there's still some other things in play. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Reg still has that face on. He doesn't like AJ Dillon this week.
You agree, right, Reg? You agree. I knew it was a good idea.
I can picture him doing it too. Just talking through
it. He's my best friend. We talk through winners. And
does he ever get a bark out? Like give a little roof, roof, roof?
No, he lets me know if he likes someone. That's for sure. He lets me know.
Yeah. I wish I got the memo. Everybody's wearing red. I should have wore red.
You missed it.
Just missed that email, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. So what?
So you got any? Well, we're on the last game of the slate here, which is okay. But Dunkle, do you have any winners to give out for the people? Early winners for the week? Anything you feel strong on?
So I'll tell you this, and I know this is not part of this show. I told myself a few weeks back, if Detroit's like anything less than 4.5 or 5 in any game for the rest of the season, just fade them. Like I don't understand why people want this team to win so bad. They're awful. And I'd argue Andy Dalton's an upgrade from Fields. So I don't understand why the Lions are getting love from literally, I don't know, everyone.
I love the Lions. You're just shitting on me right now. And I haven't been on the Lions all year.
It's not just
I'll tell you why though, Dunkle, because Nagy's going to get fired. The team has quit.
I'd argue from a narrative standpoint, if anything, this team now is on the other side of the mountain. They know he's gone. They said he's going to.
So they're excited.
They said he's going to be fired. I'm expecting to see an amped up version of the Bears tomorrow. Now, granted, Allen Robinson being out potentially would hurt. But I guess I think Dalton's just obviously a better passer, and teams have just lit up Detroit in every single way this year. I mean, like I said, the closest game they had was when they played Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh fumbled like 13 times. So for me, yeah, that's one of my favorite bets of the entire weekend.
Oh, Clint just said JJ on a 9-1 run. I didn't hear that when you came on. Who's on a 9-1 run? JSU? 9-1? If I was 9-1 my last 10, everyone in this state would know I was 9-1.
Yeah, we'd be getting videos for showing off. Like, look at all my stuff. Like, come on.
9-1, and he didn't even mention it.
Yeah, it's a good 10-game stretch. It's a small sample, but it's a good 10
like,
game.
Man, I've read good the last 10 games.
A good 10-game stretch.
Man, I got so lucky the last 10 games. Like, I've been so lucky. I love how Tony, though, he reads Clint's message of JJ's 9-1. He disregards Happy Thanksgiving, boys. Like, Tony could give a shit about anyone telling him Happy Thanksgiving. Just to let people know, if you praise Tony, if you say like Merry Christmas or Happy Thanksgiving, he won't respond back to you. I can almost guarantee you the last year I sent this man a text saying, I think it was either Happy Thanksgiving or Merry Christmas. I can't remember which one it was. Might have been both. And he never responded. And I swear to God, I figured out just from those two instances that he hates when people say like happy holidays or give him praise or anything like that. So the next time we had a holiday, I said, I hope Amber and the kids have a great day, and I hope you have a shitty day. Fuck you. And he responded after I told him to fuck himself, even though I told Amber.
I like that. That's music to my ears. I like when the trash
talk. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving
Yeah.
people ideas now, but that's how you do it. You got to trash talk Tony and then wish his family a great day. That's how you do it.
I
And he'll
definitely
to you.
respond better to that for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm just
Dunkle,
not
how
a
would you
sentimental
respond?
person. Like Amber knows it better than anyone. I'm not. If I do, I feel like I'm faking it. Like, I don't want to fake it. I'm not a fake person.
It's exactly why I don't send like too many like happy birthdays to people, and like I like even my family members. Like, if anything, I'll tell them when I see them, But if not, like
I just don't get it. Like, I don't get why are you that excited it's your birthday? Like, I don't get that. We could do a whole show about this, honestly, at some point. Like, I'm not sentimental. Like, I just don't get why you need like a card on your birthday saying like, I love you, Tony. Happy birthday. But I don't need that. I don't want that.
I mean, JSU, Tony's not an external validation guy. He doesn't need it.
Yeah.
He doesn't want it.
No, I figured it out. I figured out what he actually wants. He wants
I do
someone
like
to
the
get in
FU,
there.
though. The FU is, I respond to that.
It was his birthday, by the way. It was his birthday, and I was like, no way I'm sending this dude a happy birthday text message. So I gave him the opposite. I gave him a nice FU text message.
So as far as the games, like, was that a joke, or are we really on the last game?
No, we're almost done. Yeah, we've cruised. Well, two of us, even with JSU breaking down O lines, we can still get through it pretty quick.
No, so I held back.
A few of the spots I do like. It's early in the week, and I will be fully transparent. I do not make bets in this new version of the NFL early in the week. There's just too much COVID news. There's too much news that breaks late. There's too much news that gets concealed midweek to make bets. But I will tell you this, where I've looked, and assuming that things stay the way they are, or status quo, if you will, really like the Jaguars over their team total this weekend. Their team total, I believe, is like 23, 22 and a half, 23-ish. Really like that spot. Atlanta's given up 23 points to, I don't know, like everyone this year, except for like one or two teams. And to me, it's a good spot. Atlanta generates no pass rush, so Trevor Lawrence should have enough time in the pocket. And look, I don't love anything about this Jacksonville offense, but to me, this is strictly a small number against this Atlanta defense, where most teams get 3 touchdowns and a field goal against. So even in home in Jacksonville, which probably doesn't matter all that much. I know Atlanta's been playing better. That's probably why they got steamed a bit here. But yeah, the new number, Jacksonville over their team total 22.5. Again, assuming we don't get any later injury news. Also, I do feel like, at least this year in particular, I've been kind of like a Viking whisperer. I think
that's the game we're on right now.
I think you really fade them this weekend against the Niners. It's a terrible matchup for them. They're coming off a nice win against Green Bay, something they haven't done in quite some time. At least play them competitively and even blow a lead late and then still win the game is really what I meant from a whole game perspective. I thought the game was well coached. I thought Cousins played really well. Let's also note that this is not in that magical 1 o'clock Eastern time slot for Kirk Cousins. I think that San Francisco will run the ball at will against this team. And I think that San Fran's going to generate enough pass rush to cause issues to Cousins and in that backfield. It's a small number. I just think it needs to be bigger. And you want to talk about teams that I've liked. Liking what you've been seeing recently. San Francisco's been a machine. I think San Francisco's finally back on track. They're slowly getting healthier. And this line to me indicates that Minnesota would be -3 in Minnesota, which is completely ridiculous. Really like San Francisco this week. Again, I don't make bets this early because of all the news that could come out. But yeah, if this line stays 2.5, 3, 100% going to be a fire spot on the Niners. One thing before we get to the other games, what was your take, Tony, on the big Tampa Bay Colts matchup this week?
It's our Colts, man. They got the big W last week. Dunkle's with me on the Colts and Niners. That's one thing I know. We like the same two teams as far as those two. I think the Colts last week was a statement game. We said it on the Print Factory. Statement game of the year. They finally got back to 500, and they've lost. You said it. I remember last week. They've lost a lot of these games that they should or could not, maybe not should, but could win. Like a few of the really tight games, they just blew. Like, just to be honest, a Wentz bad throw or different things have happened. They needed to win that game against Buffalo, and not only did they win, thoroughly dominated them. And I like them again this week versus Tampa. I think Tampa is very overrated, and I think the Colts are very underrated. I still think I've been touting it, and I feel better and better. I think they can win the Super Bowl. I really do. I think the Colts and the Niners are my two teams based on odds, based on everything betting wise, where you can't just bet just the favorite. I mean, you could, you're not going to get good odds. I think the Colts and the 49ers are the two teams with the most value in all of football for futures.
Yeah, I can't argue that at all. I will tell you this: I like in this game is the offense. So my only issue with
everything you're saying is what we already said. So you're giving us some conviction here. It's like 4 straight takes you've had that is exactly what we said on the show.
Yeah, and I promise you guys I wasn't listening to the show while I was getting a haircut.
Even if you were, you're making us look good.
So the thing with point. So the only issue I have with the Colts is a lot of their recent success has been built around the run game with Jonathan Taylor. Just teams don't run the ball successfully against the Bucs. So, but I heard is Vita Vea, is he going to be out potentially?
We don't know yet, but yeah.
We don't know yet. He tried to play last game and they had to hold him out. He wanted to play, but they held him out. I think he's nicked up enough where he could miss.
I don't think the Colts generate enough pressure with 4 to bother Brady in almost any sense. And the Colts might start to blitz, but Brady can obviously sift out most of those. And on the Colts side, again, I think Wentz has been playing some of his best ball of the season. Jonathan Taylor has been incredible. His progression from whether it's early this year or even you argue early last year, it's been incredible. So my issue though is, again, on the Bucs end of things, can they actually force the Colts into 3rd and longs, and then Carson Wentz then is not exactly at his best. So maybe I might actually target Tampa over their team total instead of the over for the game, just because I feel more confident Tampa gets their points. I think the Colts can get their points, but it's going to be purely around them being able to find some success in the ground game, and I'm just not convinced that'll happen. But yes, I do like points in that one. Even 51, 52.5 seems low. Their defenses are. And the Bucs are like the best first half team in the NFL. So I think you could talk on maybe there being early points as well instead of going full game. But yeah, that's my take there. But I can't argue. Like, if people like the Bucs or the Colts, I can't argue either direction. I think it's a soft number for the Bucs, all things considered. But you can make the argument Colts are one of the hottest teams in the NFL right now. So I'm not can't imagine people want to line up to fade them. But I do think there's points in the game. The over makes a lot of sense to me.
That's why I like the Colts and the Niners, though. It's like I'm not worried no matter who they play. That's the type of teams they are. If they get it going, they can beat anybody. Yeah, on the flip side to that is they can lose to anyone too because of the style they play. But there's no team in football, any of them, that scare me to play both the Niners and the Colts. They can beat anybody.
One difference, though, like I'll just use these guys as an example, but like, or teams, but like Tampa and Green Bay, if you tell me that they were down 21-3 at halftime,
Yeah,
I'd
you're
be
not
like,
worried.
okay, I still got a shot. I'd still say to myself, I have a shot.
Yeah.
If you told me Carson Wentz in a playoff game was down 21-3 and I bet Carson Wentz, I'd be shitting my pants right now being like, oh
course.
God, I got
Completely.
Carson Wentz.
Niners
you know what
too.
I mean? In Niners, same thing. Jimmy Garoppolo, like it'd be the same.
They got to play from ahead for sure, or a close game. It's got to be within reach.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah,
and that's the difference, I would say. But as a whole
you're never
team,
worried with Brady and Rodgers and Mahomes and Josh Allen. Even you're never worried until the game's over.
The more I look at it though, guys, I think first half over the number makes a lot more sense. Believe it or not,
you say that, Dunkle, until Jonathan Taylor starts steamrolling them again, and that clock's just churning.
Well, believe it or not, Tony, over the last 3 weeks, by far your best first half team in the NFL has been the Colts. 24 points.
They churn them, 24
points per first half in their last 3 games.
Yeah,
it's just an amazing.
The Bucs are a great first half team,
and the Bucs are the best team in the NFL in the first half.
Yeah.
So like they're already ranked above them offensively.
I mean, I will just say though, like their numbers from first to second half is kind of skewed because they let off on the gas pedal clearly when they're up big on some teams. I think anyways, they get up on teams big and then they just kind of coast. So I think the numbers are a little skewed, but at the same time, they're still for sure the team that you want first half, like betting. Yeah, I think betting the first half number probably makes the most sense. Even if Jonathan Taylor gets going, I'm okay with it because that just guarantees me I'm getting some Colts points, and I think Brady's going to put up points. So I honestly would be fine with it.
Yeah, I think the over makes a lot of sense. Again, a lot of it's relying upon Taylor finding success in the run game because that's really what the engine for the Colts goes through. But he's been so good. That O-line's been so good. It's hard to imagine as good as the Bucs are against the run, especially if Vita Vea doesn't play. I really like the over in that game.
All right, well, let's get to
what else you got in the
game.
Early session. What do you like? Anything else in the early? Because we already went through it all.
Yeah, no, the two I liked in the earlies were what I mentioned. It was the Niners are the 4 o'clock. I do like Jacksonville over their team total. So Jacksonville over 23.5. Carolina, Miami, no real look there. Pittsburgh, Cincy, no look there. And I think that's it, right? For the 1 o'clock. So it's not a lot because the week gets split up.
Some ugly games too.
I think Carolina is a lock -2 personally, even in Miami. I think it's a bad matchup for Miami. I think they're going to get beaten badly. So
Dunkle didn't like that. Did you see that look he gave you?
Yeah, he gave me the look, but
he did. He gave a glare there. He didn't even respond.
I think their defense is going to give Tua fits. So
I want to be clear. I absolutely love the take by JSU.
You don't need to like it. We could be on different sides.
We used to love it. Last year when we did this show, which one of you two donkeys loved Tua?
I love Tua.
It was not me.
It was the Dunkle man. It was the Tua lover. I couldn't remember. I knew it was one of you two. I couldn't remember though.
I have Tua.
You know what, Tony? That is hurtful. We've done so many shows together. I literally make fun of Tua like every time.
It was a long time ago, though. Things changed.
Oh God, I still make fun of him to this day.
Well, I hope you make fun of him now. I mean, even last week, the dude was wide open, and his throw looked painful to throw it deep.
You see his throw? Like, it's just like, God, it's so bad. Dunkle, I thought you were leaving out one of the plays because when you came in here with the Belichick hoodie, I was like, this dude's betting New England, like lock button central against
Dunkle
Tennessee.
hasn't been on New England all year. I bet he doesn't like them.
But he's got the hoodie, so I figured it was like an homage
That's just because he wants
Belichick.
to look good. Look at that hair, JSU. The dude looks sharp. He's going straight to the bench after this.
Are we done? So
he was already on the bench. He already
the only
went
one
to the
that
bench,
hates
Tony.
it more than me is Dunkle. I'm going to start doing what JSU always does to me to Dunkle just to get revenge.
I find the line interesting with New England. I won't bet the game unless it stretches past 7, which it won't. I find it interesting because even if you thought Tennessee was a bit of smoke and mirrors the last few weeks, I don't think they deserve this type of movement on a line. New England's been good. They've been strong, and their offense looks good, and Tennessee doesn't generate a lot of pressure, so I get that aspect, which is what would scare me a bit off Tennessee. But I just think
How's Tennessee going to score, Dunkle?
I just think Tennessee had a bad game.
How are they going to score, though?
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to have Julio or AJ, right? And obviously no Henry.
AJ might play, but
if AJ plays, that helps. And look, they're going to score the same way they've been scoring the 2 previous games. They're just going to try to find creative ways, whether it's through their defense, whether it's through special teams, whether it's through some nuances in the actual flow of a game. They're going to find ways to score. New England's just been super good. It's definitely a pass spot for me. I'm not looking at. I would never bet New England, who's on a 5-game winning streak, who's had the spread just move, who's playing a team that just got blown out that shouldn't have against a bad team. I would never bet New England in this spot, but it is hard to fade New England right now. So all that considered, I'm gonna be off the game.
I'm gonna still say I'm with Dunkle that I'm gonna be off the game too. I'm gonna still say that the Titans play up against good teams. They play down to bad teams, in my opinion. And Mike Vrabel, like the Patriots, I think Vrabel like plays this team well. I think he can do enough. And I will say, you want to beat the Patriots, the one thing you need is inside pressure, defenders getting pressure on the quarterback to make Mac Jones move out of the pocket. If you can make Mac Jones move out of the pocket, you can have success. Titans don't get a lot of pressure, but their best pressure guy is Jeffrey Simmons on the inside, and he is tough for a lot of defenses to deal with. If he could have a big game, I could see it as a spot where Mac Jones struggles, and you're saying, oh, how is he struggling? But it could be that inside pressure from Simmons gets to him. If he can get to him a little bit, they could create some problems for Mac Jones. I will just say that is a way for the Titans to keep this game manageable. Maybe they still don't win, but to keep it within striking distance.
I gave my lock of the season last week. Easy W. The more you guys talk,
do not do this.
The more I'm coming back with it. There is no way New England's not blowing this team out. Double-digit win for New England. That's my lock. I'm not going to the year because I hit that last week. Lock of the week, though, is New England.
Tony, everybody uses multiple locks of the year.
Okay, lock of the year again. Let's run it right back. New England.
Tony's like, I gave a lock of the year. Now I got to give a lock of the week, and then I'll give a lock of the day. Like he's just going to give all these locks. What they usually do, though, is usually when you lose the lock of the year, you come back and you double. Not when you win it. When you win it, you gotta go backwards.
We're fresh off our lock of the year with a win, and we're gonna go right back, and now we're on the lock of the century. This is why this game's gonna win.
Honestly, though, I literally think New England is a total lock. So I kind of disagree with you too. I think I think New England's good.
Time out. You don't kind of disagree. You vehemently disagree. Like you are totally against what we're.
I think the
spread is a way.
I don't see any way they don't win by more than a touchdown. So yes, I love New England.
Oh, come on. More than a touchdown, Tony. You think they get blown out. You think it should be like
I do, but the spread's only 6. I don't need to say anything too crazy. I mean, we only got to win by a touchdown.
I mean, you just guaranteed a blowout to every single person. You said it's a lock.
Lock of the century, baby. Woo!
I love that Big T's like, yeah, I slightly disagree with you guys. I mean, yes, I know. He's like, absolute lock of the century. They win by double.
That's what I said. I'm like, you don't like kind of disagree. You like strongly disagree. You hate the take.
I hate New England too. Is the funny part. I'm not a New England guy. I just think Tennessee is really trash, really cheeks, as we say on the show.
Oh, cheeks. That's like the other thing that the kids
get us to this
now.
last game so we can get out of here before these basketball shows.
Oh, slaps. Something slaps.
Yeah, that's the younger. Does Dunkle hear that? That's what all these young kids are saying. That this team slaps. Dunkle, have you ever heard that?
So I've heard slaps. I've heard suspect get abbreviated now as sus. There's just a lot of like things the kids of these days are doing that they think are cool. However, I'll be honest, I don't mind the new definition of the word slaps.
I kind of like slaps too, if I'm being honest. Like I can see myself saying that. Like New England's gonna slap.
I mean, yeah, Jonathan Taylor's probably gonna slap on Sunday against them.
Yeah, I kind of like it now that you're saying it.
You sound like fucking donkeys. Like God, just absolutely.
Simon says Rubio says drip all the time.
Yeah, drip's not one I heard of. That's Rubio in his own lane.
What is drip? Okay, now I'm completely off. All right, last game. We got to get to it here. We'll never end this show.
Sauce. Hold on a second. The number one rule I can't live by, because I've taken pride in these. They've been profitable 4 or 5 years. These long teasers, you can't tease the Patriots. I always preach this. Dunkle might not even agree, but it's my rule. It's not anyone else's. If a team is favored by 6, it looks like a good teaser game on the surface because you're getting in a money line. But it is not a good teaser game when it's 6, because you're anything below the 3, you're wasting points. You're literally wasting 2.5 points. Just money line parlay it if you want to do anything. Do not tease a 6-point favorite ever, please. Unless you're just wanting to gamble. If you want to gamble, then do it, whatever. But do not do that. I refuse to acknowledge it.
I could be wrong here, Tony, but I believe Mr. Wong himself even said, I'd rather people, or the numbers make sense to actually tease 6.5 up to 12.5.
Yeah.
Versus
through key numbers
-0.5. I get, like, numbers wise, it makes more sense, even though you're not going through as many key numbers going up. You're
still using the points though, to your point. It says it straight out of the book. It's like, dude, the worst thing you can do is in teasers is tease through the 0, which if you do that, like, you should just, I mean, outside of just gambling, if you say I'm just gambling, I want to, that's fine. But if you're trying to like do it for profit, if you tease through the 0, you're just announcing that you're a total fish. But the second worst thing is teasing 6 and 6.5 down, and like anything below too. Like, you're never teasing 4 to +2. You're never teasing 3 through the 0. Anything through the 0, like, those are just the worst. Usually you can't waste points. It's just money line, just parlay it if you're going to do anything at 6.
All right. We good? Can we move on now?
Those teasers, I'm adamant on it.
Okay, I got you. I'm with you. All right, let's go. We got the last game, which we'll be able to get Dunkle's full perspective on, as well as Big T. LA Rams, Green Bay Packers. This game is going to be a good real life game. It's going to be one of those games, 4:00 game. I'm assuming it's like the prime time 4:00 game. On national TV and all that stuff. You got Aaron Rodgers against Matthew Stafford. Rams coming off, some tough weeks here, and they get a Green Bay team that they got Rodgers back, but at the same time, dude's got like a fractured toe. He was showing his toe to the media earlier today, like weird media session.
What is he doing?
Aaron Rodgers like actually showing his foot to the media, like showing his broken toe or whatever. Like, what are you doing? But
it's like with Dunkle when he goes thumbs up, except Rodgers had his 2 freaking big toes out.
And anyways, though, his toe's going to be numb, right? It's going to be freezing. Yeah. I'm sure it'll be freezing in Green Bay, so it'll get.
They got plenty of medicine they can give him too.
Yeah,
for his toe to get him through a couple hours.
I will say though, I'm sure like if someone steps on it during the game, it's got to like go from like fine to screaming pain like right away. Like,
and it'll hurt the next day for sure. But
oh yeah, it's definitely gonna hurt. But anyways, Rams are the favorites here, -1 at 47.5 the total. And this game is in Green Bay, like I said. Guys, why are the Rams the favorite here? I feel like Green Bay's been the better team. Dunkle.
So it goes without saying, this game slaps, right? I mean, Packers, Rams. Yeah, so why are the Rams? So you're saying JSU, you thought the Packers should have been favored in this game.
JSU loves the Packers for sure.
At home, yes. Aaron Rodgers is there.
Here's what I find super.
Rams have looked awful too, JJ. Like, in my opinion, I think they've looked awful recently. I already said they were. I said they were frauds when everyone after like the first 3 games were like, the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl. People were saying,
don't get us started on the Browns.
I'm going.
Don't get us started on the Browns.
Arizona is better. Arizona is the better team in that division. And that was the week that they played them. And all you guys were like, I'll take the Rams. You can have Arizona. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Arizona's the better
I'll take
team.
the Rams.
What happened? What happened?
I'll take the Rams. You can have Arizona. We'll still stick
What
with
happened? No, what happened though? Tell me what happened.
We'll still take
Kyler
it. The same
slapped
thing.
in that game. Kyler slapped like a friggin' donkey would say. He smacked them all over the field. He said, "Take that, Rams. You're not even. You shouldn't even be on the field right now. I beat the crap out of you guys." And what? Now the Rams against Green Bay in Green Bay.
The 2 most overrated teams in football by the numbers are the Packers and the Titans, like by far. It's just the numbers.
I'm
It's
sorry.
not my opinion. It's just the numbers. They're the two most overrated.
I mean, maybe the Titans. I don't know. Not Green Bay. Not when Aaron Rodgers is there.
So JSU was
Get him, Dunkle.
all over the Browns knob. Like all over the Browns knob.
Wait a second, though. I have a question, though. How does this go from we're talking about the Rams?
Because you were making fun of our team.
No, we're talking about the Rams and Green Bay, and then we have to throw a jab right in the face of Jay. Look, my big nose. You're trying to hit me right in my big nose. It's not that hard to hit me, Dunkle. All right, and you're throwing it right in my face. I get it.
I felt
Browns
like it was
are not
yesterday.
good.
I felt like it was just yesterday. The Browns were Super Bowl bound. All right. So,
First of all, though, wait a second. Time out. These guys were saying that the Rams were going to go to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. They were betting on, like, they said
They're
it after
still the favorites.
the Rams are still.
Oh, God. They're not going to even get there. They're not even going to get there. Give me Tampa, Green Bay. Give me them all. Like, they're not even going to beat Arizona. Give me those three teams. All three of them.
Now we're taking the field.
They're all no, Dunkle. I'm not taking the field. I'm saying that if those three teams lined up against the Rams in the playoffs, I would take all three of those teams. Divisional round, it doesn't matter. I would take all three of those teams against the Rams. I think they all beat them. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying give me the field against the Rams. I'm saying give me any of those three teams in the playoffs against the Rams. They all win. The Rams go home.
That's fair. I do think people jumped to wrong conclusions very quickly on this Rams team. With that said, this team is still very talented on both sides of the ball. You would assume this team will clean up some of the issues they've had recently. But so this is another game where a total's in the high 40s that Green Bay's involved in. And they just consistently don't. They haven't produced like well. I mean, yeah, sure. Against Minnesota, Minnesota kept scoring, put more pressure on them to score. But like even then, it was another game that was like without Devontae Adams having a miraculous game. They wouldn't have scored much at all on offense. This will be a game I completely avoid. I would have bet the under if I got this early enough at the 48.5 number, maybe even higher, depending where you got it. But at 47.5, I can't bet this under. To me, it would seem like points are going to be a premium in this game. I mean, what do you think, Tony?
Yeah, I agree. And the price tag on Cooper Kupp, DFS wise, makes me want to play him. It's almost like that price where we talked about it a lot in other sports, where in like baseball, even we'd have like Tatis or something would be just outrageous, like 6,500 or something. And it would almost make me want to play them more than if they were 4,500, which is the tournament mine. We talked about it earlier, some of the cash things that I can't do. GPPs, it's the opposite. When a guy looks just crazy expensive, I just immediately want to play him. And Cooper Kupp, this week we've talked about a bunch of value. Look at it. Look at his game logs. I mean, seriously, 23, 20, 24, 37, 34. His worst game all year is 11. Yeah, if he gets 11, you're pissed for sure. I mean, he still got 13 targets that game, though. So every week, just 13 targets, basically. I like him, but I do agree with Dunkle. The total looks small for two offensive teams. I have no idea what the weather's going to be, but Green Bay this time of year, maybe it's a little colder and windy when Sunday comes. But I agree. I don't see a ton of points in this game. I think both teams, the Rams don't love to play fast. I mean, if they can run a bunch of quick plays, keep that clock running, they're okay with it. We know Green Bay's okay with it. Again, kind of like, I don't remember what game we were talking about earlier where both teams like to run the clock. I don't remember at this point, but one of them where the clock's going to be running in this game. The prices are high. I mean, seriously, though, you got Devontae at 86, Cooper Kupp at 96. There's no one going to pay Cooper Kupp over Devontae for 1,000 more. I mean, that price tag is crazy. But the flip side to that is he's been by far the best fantasy player this year. He's been incredibly good. So I think there's an edge. I've done well on weeks like this in the past, too, where I play McCaffrey and Cooper Kupp. And just playing those two together, it doesn't matter who else you play because no one has that combo. And when both of them go for like 40 somehow, it's just literally you and whoever played that two-man combo versus to win something. So I like that a lot. I think you can play Cooper Kupp. I think you can play Devontae even. Besides that, though, in this game, I guess you could play A.J. Dillon, too, still at 5,900. But I'm not playing anyone else in this game. I look up and down. Maybe Odell with an extra – because they played Thursday last week, right? When he first got there. Was it Thursday? So 10 days off. Maybe they get him a little more comfortable with the offense. He's still only 5K. So he would be my second Rams guy, but A.J. Dillon, Devontae, Cooper Kupp, and then I could see maybe playing Odell a little bit just to kick the tires a little bit.
Yeah, I think Van Jefferson's a good receiver. I don't 4.9 for Van Jefferson. I could look at Van Jefferson here. I don't hate the Odell call though, because like they're gonna want him more involved, right? They traded for him. They clearly wanted to get him involved last time. But
he didn't know the offense, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't know the offense. So I'm sure he'll be playing a lot more this game. I'm sure they'll try and get him
in the playoffs.
Involved.
He's going to be like 7K. So we're clearly getting him cheap. He might still not know the offense, though. I mean, so it's not a lot, but the price tag definitely is cheap for what he's going to be once he gets going.
The problem is, I feel like this is like like you said, Tony, it's like 20 to 17 type game to me. I feel like it just goes under the number. If you like it over though, I mean the Stafford double stack, you could play Van Jefferson and Odell and bring it back with Devontae or A.J. Dillon, and I think have a nice little stack. The problem is I just see it going under the number.
It's so hard to stack the Rams too without Cooper Kupp. He just hurts your feelings. Like it's like 3 straight weeks where he's missing, and then all of a sudden he gets like 8 straight little dump offs and it just crushes.
On the same
drive. He's probably going to score 30. Like, let's be honest. Like, he's probably going to score 30 here.
He needs to at that price is the thing now. Like, he has to get 30 at 9,600.
Yeah.
If he gets 20, that's not good enough at 9,600.
So what are we doing with like A.J. Dillon? Is A.J. Dillon a play? He's 5'9" still. Rams maybe not the ideal matchup. Like, what are we doing with A.J. Dillon?
What do you think, Dunkle? I'm torn.
To me, I felt like you got like his borderline floor last, like with Aaron Jones out, like he didn't score, averaged less than 5 yards a carry, and caught 6 short passes. Am I crazy for thinking with how much he's on the field? That's his floor.
I kind of think he hit his floor too, honestly. Like he didn't look very good. He didn't do anything crazy, and he got 15 fantasy points, 16 fantasy points. He got 6 targets, 11 carries. The game was a passing game too. Like the way it was going wasn't really a running type game. And we just watched what the Niners did to this defense. Yeah, we like to think the Rams are a good D. The Niners shredded this defense. So, yeah, I like it. I mean, this is the perfect mini stack game for me, honestly. Like, I think a few of these guys are great plays, but I don't think it's a full stack type game either.
Yeah, I would likely only play Dillon in this game. I mean, at these prices, I won't have exposure to Adams. Especially as I just think the game's going to play slower. Like Rodgers at 69 isn't terrible, but he's clearly not 100%.
Yeah. I don't think you can play Rodgers. I really don't.
I think the game plays slower.
It's got to be like the toughest possible matchup for Devontae too, in a way. I mean, he could still crush. It's Devontae. I'm not saying he won't, but at the price, and we all think the game goes under.
Tony, I will say though, they haven't been moving Ramsey around as much. Like they'll move him around in key spots, but he's been playing primarily like not really shadowing.
I'd be stunned this week if they didn't give him a large majority of Devontae.
Yeah.
Either way, though, it doesn't really matter. I mean, at that price, yeah,
I'd rather be loaded up in the Tampa game myself.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to spend up in this game, but A.J. Dillon's price tag probably keeps him in play. I don't know if he's going to be, like a lock or a core.
He's going to be very popular too, based on this projection. His projection is super high. I mean, he's projected for 25 points or something. Like, he's going to be very popular.
All right, well, that's something, later in the week I think we're going to have to decide on, but as of right now, if he's going to be popular, I don't know if I'm going to be full board.
So Kamara just got ruled out for tomorrow. That's interesting.
Telling you, he was not healthy he was not as healthy as they were even saying.
I'm actually glad they rolled him out today though, so we can plan a little bit.
Can they just let Taysom Hill play backyard football?
Don't get me excited. Don't get me excited on Thanksgiving.
They've looked terrible. The only reason their scores look close is because 3 straight games in the fourth quarter, the Saints have piled on points.
Dunkle makes me happy. That's better than telling me happy birthday.
Taysom, nothing makes Tony go from 6
I've been
to
saying
midnight.
this for a month though. It's Simeon's been okay, but the team has sucked. Let Taysom play his game. And I would give them a much better chance tomorrow if you did that.
What's funny is that Sean Payton talks this guy up like he is a legit superhero.
Yeah.
How does he not give him a start?
I think he just literally wants him to be the slasher type where he just is everywhere. I don't know. Dunkle just got me excited though, because man, it would be with Kamara out. I will say he becomes. We already did the Showdown show. You can check it out, or I guess we talked about it on the other show, but. Taysom is way more in play with Kamara out because the offense is going to be more stagnant, and it's just a great Taysom spot. I mean, I won't play him at quarterback still, unless there was news that he would start or something.
You can't play him at quarterback.
No, not unless they gave that news that he was going to start and get a majority of the work. Then you could, but yeah, not if they don't do that.
I mean,
but in Showdown though, I mean, he's $7K on FanDuel.
The last 3 games for this Saints team, they've averaged over 17 points in the fourth quarter. They're doing all their damage against prevent defenses with big leads or against.
That's what Simeon does though. That's what
Simeon sucks.
That's what I mean. Sucks. So in this case, hear me out. Crazy thought. Bench Simeon for the first 3 quarters. Yeah. And if you're in a big hole in the fourth quarter,
put him in there
anyway. He's been going good. I agree. Quarter.
You have a better chance at beating Buffalo with Taysom starting at quarterback.
Well, at least because
that's a fact to me.
I think you have a better chance of keeping Josh Allen on the sideline, which is how they would do it. And Taysom would give him that ability.
Again, I'm not saying Sean Payton's the one that's wrong here. I'm just saying that it makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
Based on the fourth quarter performances from Simeon.
Sure. And just to polish it up too, what we've all said, because they got the NBA show coming. I mean, Payton likes Taysom even more than I do and more than we all do. So he probably does know better than we do. And this is just what we do. I mean, it's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to give our takes on it, but he probably does know his skill set even more than any of us. So he's probably doing the right thing, whatever he thinks. I'll give him benefit of the doubt.
Random Thanksgiving night, let Taysom just play back football for 3 quarters.
I will never forget, I tell this all the time, but 2 or 3 years ago, whatever it was on that Thanksgiving week, the Monday before is when I had my biggest Showdown hit, 300K or something. And then the Thanksgiving slate, I got Taysom at 2%, and he scored 2 touchdowns. I had 20 of the top 25 teams with him. And then Atlanta got 3 straight onside kicks and scored 2 touchdowns, and I ended up losing money. It was one of the sickest fate things I've ever seen in my life.
I'll tell you right now, that's just how Big T runs. I mean,
oh God,
worse?
It was bad. People were congratulating me Big T's going back to back. And even if it wasn't for after 2 onside kicks, I was still not shipping, but I was up a ton. And then the 3rd onside kick and touchdown, I just soared downward. Let's run that back tomorrow.
The Big T stories. Hopefully we can get Taysom tomorrow. But guys, we got to go. We got the NBA show, like Big T said, coming up in 2 minutes. So make sure to check out the NBA Hardwood show. And then the final countdown, if you're a subscriber, with me and Tony, bringing you up to lock. So check us out over at RunPure Sports. Don't forget to hit that like button on the way out and subscribe to the channel. For me, JSU, Big T, and Uncle Dunkle, thanks for joining us late, brother. We appreciate everyone watching. We will see you next time. Good luck this week and on Turkey Day. We are out.